Hi, this is John from Chicago, and welcome to my channel. My last video was what equipment to buy. That'd be the quadcopter, the radio, and the goggles to fly FPV. This video is to actually teach you how to fly FPV. And no, we're not flying FPV here, we're flying line of sight. And I think that's a great way to start, is line of sight. Maybe spend an hour just to learn your sticks, get used to your sticks. If you have a toy grade quadcopter, you could learn with that, but this is your FPV quadcopter, you could learn. Also, this is a Beta FPV 85X Pro 2, and that's one of the four that I recommend getting, although you could get quite a few others. So the first thing to do is learn to hover. Line of sight, and I kind of like the indoors because you don't have wind that's affecting you, or outdoors is better if it's a non-windy day and you got a large area, but get yourself at least a 10-foot across area to learn to fly. I like putting a carpet in the center, and the goal would be to stay over this little piece of carpet. So what we want to do is give it some throttle and lift it up off the ground. And you might go flying into the ceiling at first, but a couple tries you should be able to get it so it'll fly. I like to keep it about a foot or two off the ground and just stay over this carpet. First battery, you're doing nothing but hovering it over this carpet, so it's the only thing you're trying to learn. Now for the second battery, I recommend starting throttle control, learning to control your throttle management. And that's just go up about 2 feet or 3 feet, back down, just go back up and down. Practice being able to stop yourself from hitting the ground and going up and down. So that's your second battery, I would say, would be use it for throttle management. Then your third battery, I'd say go forward, pitch forward and back. And again, stay over the carpet or just off the carpet. After you get back and forth with the pitch, that'd be the right stick forward and back. And then the right stick side to side is roll. Just learn how to keep it over the carpet. So, and then the last one is actually yaw, rudder. That's the left stick. It's a little bit more difficult, I think, but just get your yaw, just little bits of yaw, like 40 degrees or 30 degrees left, 30 degrees right. And what you're doing too is you're actually using your throttle, which is that same stick, to keep when you yaw, the way the quadcopter yaws is it slows two props up and it keeps two going at the same speed, and that makes it turn. So a lot of times when you yaw, you have to give it a little bit more throttle. Sometimes the flight control board makes up for it, but that's the first step, would be to learn how to use all your sticks, and this will take, say, 3 batteries. And at the end of your third battery, or your fourth battery, learn to walk behind it. Stay right behind it and walk. And you're actually flying. So once you learn this, your next step would be to actually go outside. I like outside flying because there's less furniture to hit. If you're flying FPV in the house, you're going to hit furniture. It's nice to have, unless you have a huge house. But we'll get into the next step, but this is your first thing, is to spend maybe up to an hour to learn how to fly line of sight. Now, some of the fancy things on line of sight that I don't think you need to learn yet is how to be coming toward you and know how to turn. You just end up putting your mind into the quad. So you're steering. This is real difficult for most people to master, and it takes probably 40 hours of flight to actually learn how to do this step. But you don't need this This frustrates a lot of people with FPV flying. You're always walking like behind it. You're in the quad. Step number 1, learn line of sight, or the basics of line of sight. No, we aren't outside racing. This is a simulator. And a simulator is a good way to learn. So after you learn, or when you're learning line of sight flying, trying a little bit of a simulator is also a good way to get started before you fly. So I just thought I'd show you this. You're using your radio, and this is a $20 program. And it'll save you at least that in parts for learning to fly on the simulator from crashes that you would avoid having. You can fly through the woods here as well. So, and there's a ton of different quads that you can fly, and a lot of tracks. And the tutorial that they have is quite good. Each tutorial lasts a couple minutes on YouTube, and they will advance you through your FPV journey. We're going to start the learn to fly FPV here. What I have the quad on a piece of cardboard to take off, so the propellers will be clear of the grass. I have a ball out here at about 30 feet, 40 feet. And I have another ball over here at about 30 or 40 feet, and I'm going to just go around this triangle. I'm facing into the wind, so I'm going toward the wind to begin with. That way, if there's a problem or something, the wind will blow the quad back. So let me turn on the goggles. Okay, let's see, let's plug in the quad. Got the radio turned on. Turn the radio on first. Okay, make sure I'm on the right channel. Yep, on the right channel. Okay, we'll turn on the recorder. It's turning on red. First thing I'm going to learn or show you is you want to arm the quad, and we're going to fly about 5 feet and disarm, because you need to know how to disarm this. So we're going to arm it. Motors are going. We're going to take off, and we're going to disarm. Just click the disarm switch on the bottom left. We will start this process over again. This time we're actually going to fly. Hopefully we're going to fly out to that first ball. Okay. Give it a little bit of throttle. Ball's up ahead. And we're going to start to turn. Give it some yaw. Go to the second ball. Turn. Then head back to me. So we're just going around the triangle. Try to stay about 6 feet off the ground. It's probably the hardest thing, is to know where you're at elevation-wise. So we're just going around this triangle. I really like to have points that you aim for. That way you're just not going across the field, and you'll tend to go straight. And then when you go to turn around, it's a long walk. So I don't know if I'm pointing the right direction or not. Okay. I'm going to work my way back into the wind. Just cut it off. Landing is just a matter of shutting it off and letting it fall in the grass. It's not going to hurt anything. I'm flying in the yard now because I had some kids come up, and I don't like flying by kids. It's not safe to do. So just to reiterate, for learning to fly FPV, the first thing is to be able to disarm and stop. Whenever you're getting yourself in trouble, it's always better to disarm and let the quad drop. The next thing is to fly in an open area with no trees getting started. Then I like setting up, the third thing is to set up a small triangular or square course where you're staying close to the start point. This makes it easy to go get your quad and put it on the cardboard to start over again. And it's easy to find your quad because you're also close. And then the next step would be to learn, I didn't show that here, but you want to learn to fly both clockwise and counterclockwise. I would repeat that for going the other directions, which I didn't show. And I would estimate that it's going to take an hour or two to learn the basics for FPV. And after that, you could start to leave your triangle and try to go out in the field a little bit, especially if you have a spotter to help you find the quad. And then I would say you'd want to probably maybe after 8 hours of flying FPV, try indoors. Indoors is always a fun spot to fly. I didn't want to get you started there because you're going to hit things. The other thing would be to do some gates like I'm doing here. Fly over the gates at first, and then you could start to go through them. I would set the gates up in the open field so there's no trees. Make it a little bit easier on you. And then if you've been flying already, how long did it take you to fly FPV, and how did you learn to fly? Put that in the comments below. And then if you're new to FPV and you're learning to fly and you're following these this lesson here, is it working for you? And how long is it taking you? So if you have any comments or questions, please leave those below. And this is John from Chicago, and thanks for watching.